Hey everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Vancouver Island, Canada, and tonight it is January 9th, and you are joining me for project number 1 in my Cake Celebrations card class at home. So this will be a beginner card. All you will need is some paper, some stamps, ink, and of course, we always need glue. So let's get started. I'm going to flip the camera around and go through all the measurements. All right, so I'm just going to adjust my camera if I can. I have a wrist, oops, that's too much. Sorry, let me fix that. I have on a wrist tensor, I don't even know what the word is. I hurt my wrist. So I've got this awkward, weird, hard tensor bandage on, and it definitely makes my wrist feel better, but it's going to be a little bit awkward, I think, for crafting, so I might just have to take it off. Anyway, let's see. So I'm just going to bring up Facebook on my laptop. There's always a little bit of a delay, and that way I can make sure that you can see my hands. I just want to make sure I'm in the right spot. So I'm going to adjust to lift this up just a little bit more. There, I think that's pretty good. All right, so tonight I am only using the stamps in the Cake Celebration bundle. Hey Chelsea, thanks for tuning in. Hello Jackie. And this card is going to be obviously pink. So I'll walk you through these measurements. I've got a pretty and pink card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and of course I score it at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side. Flirty Flamingo, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Now I've got some brand new designer series paper. This is called Bloom Impressions, and you can get this during celebration until the end of February. So it's actually really pretty. I'll show you the paper in a second, but let's get through the rest of these. Another Flirty Flamingo layer, 2 5/8 by 3 5/8, and then basic white, 2.5 and 3.5. So this designer series paper you can pick up for free during the celebration promotion. And obviously I've already chopped up this one, but this one is pink. The other side's pink, shocking, but it's pretty floral patterns on one side, and then more neutral patterns on the other. So lots of pretty colors, and I really like yellows. I'm quite drawn to yellows lately. So I can foresee myself getting a lot of use out of this paper. I probably won't have much left over. So anyway, that's it. There's more. There's still another half pack of this designer series paper. There's lots. All right, let's get going. So we'll start out by gluing our Flirty Flamingo base to our card front. So I'm just going to fold my card in half. Chelsea, I'm glad you like this stamp set. I like it too, but it's probably because I'm a huge fan of cake. To be honest, I really like cake. I like sweets, especially cake. So this is a very simple design, and this will be project 1 out of 4. So I will pop on live Thursday evenings to do one project a week until the series is done, and then I'm just going to combine all the videos into a YouTube playlist, so it's always going to be available. And the fun thing about the designs is that you can use them with any stamp set, papers, just anything you have on hand. They'll all be very versatile. Now I'm just going to mat my designer series paper onto my Flirty Flamingo layer. My wrist, I can already feel my wrist. I really like my tensor bandage. It makes it feel so much better, but I just can't maneuver with it on. It's too restricting. Okay. Now, this white piece of paper will be matted onto the Flirty Flamingo, but we're going to do some stamping first, and it's always a good idea to stamp before you glue, just in case you need to, I don't know, flip your paper over because you mess up like I do quite often. So I've got a whole bunch of different colors. Now, when I originally posted the measurement photo, I suggested Flirty Flamingo, Pretty in Pink, Daffodil Delight, and Smoky Slate. And I, short notice, decided to add Petunia Pop, and you'll see why. I thought I was going to get away with 4 colors, but then I changed my mind. So I'm going to start out with the Sentiment, because I'm going to stamp that on the bottom of my basic white, and I'm going to stamp in Flirty Flamingo. For this project, I'm just going to use the sentiment from the stamp set that says Celebrate. I really like the font in the stamp set. It's quite lovely script. All right. So I have already, I don't know if you can see that, made a little mistake. I pressed too hard. So because I didn't glue that down already, I get to just flip it over and try again. And then I have to hope. I probably put my head under the camera. If I did, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that if I did. Anyway, now I have to hope that I don't mess up the rest of this piece of basic white, or I'm going to have to cut another one. Hey, Vicki, thanks for tuning in. I hope you are going to be on the mend soon. I know you're not feeling well. All right, now, Smoky Slate. And I'm going to use this to stamp the plate for the cake. I'm sure there's another word for that besides plate. It's like a cake stand or something. It seems fancy. So I'm just going to stamp that right over Celebrate. I don't need Smoky Slate anymore, so I'm going to get that out of the way. And then I have got my cake bases. So there's 2 cake bases in the stamp set. I'm going to use my lighter shade of pink for the cake bases, which is Pretty in Pink. And usually my glass mat is just fine for stamping with photopolymer stamps, but I noticed that it didn't quite like my cake stamps right on the glass mat. So I'm going to use a little foam mat for a little extra cushion, and that way I'm going to get a better stamp image. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but that's my experience with the cake stamp. So I'm going to move the camera down. I'm just going to try to line this up without getting my head in the camera view. Hey Terry, hello Janice. And I'm going to stamp my bottom layer down, and then, whoops, that was loud, sorry guys. Then I'm going to stamp the smaller layer right on top. I do not need my foam mat anymore. It's just for some reason those cake stamps, I don't know what it is. I'm going to put away the Pretty in Pink, and then I'm going to stamp, where is it? Oh, I have to get them. So there's other stamps in here that you can stamp, kind of like a darker shading of your cake, like a layer, like you've got a cake with layers, and I love them. I just love these cake layer stamps. I think that they add such a nice touch to the cake. All right, let me get that out of the way. There's a lot of stamps happening. All right, darker pink, I'm going to go Flirty Flamingo. Yeah, Chelsea, I don't know what it is. Usually I can stamp on stamp with photopolymer on my glass mat with no problem, but there's just something about the cake, and I thought it was my ink pad, but it's not. So now I'm using the bigger cake layer in a darker pink, and I'm just going to 2-step stamp and stamp this right in the middle of the bigger cake layer. All right, Isn't that something? I just think it's amazing. I love these layers. I'll do the same thing with the smaller layer. Right? Cute, cute. Okay, now I was going to stamp the candles in the darker pink, but I decided last minute I was going to go with Petunia Pop. There is Petunia Pop in this DSP, so I thought, why not? It'll just be a little more contrast. But you do you if you don't have a darker shade, because I think it will be just fine either way. All right, so I'm just going to stamp that right on the top. And then I barely left myself enough room. I'm really pushing it. Then I'm going to add the candle flames in Daffodil Delight. Just need to grab that stamp as well. All right, this is a super tiny little stamp. And there is a way that it goes. So I'm just going to line it up and make sure I have it right, because one of the flames is higher than the rest. So it's really easy to tell which way you need to stamp. All right, so here we go. I did stamp a little bit high, but that's okay. And now what I want to do is take one of these floral stamps. It doesn't really matter which one. I'm just going to pick the middle-sized one, and I'm going to stamp flowers in Pretty in Pink around the edges of this basic white. So it doesn't matter how you want to do it. You can stamp as many or as few as you want. I'm just going to just add them randomly. I don't really have a plan. One more. All right, and now this piece, I'm going to mat right onto the Flirty Flamingo. Hey Sherry, thanks for tuning in. All right, so here we go. All right, so once I get this matted down, now you've got two choices. You can either stamp it. Sorry, we're done stamping. You can either glue this directly on your card base in the middle, off to the side, whatever you like, or you can pop it up. I'm going to pop it up and just add a little bit of dimension to this card because it's fun when you do that. All right, so either off to the side, in the middle, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to put it down right in the middle. And that's it. That is, I'm going to raise my camera up again. What a night. Oh my goodness. This is card project number 1 in the Cake Celebration card class at home. So next week, I'm going to demonstrate a casual card, so there'll be a little bit more to it. And the week after that, we'll do an Avid card. And then the week after that, either a Technique or a Fun Fold. I haven't quite decided. So if you have a preference to Technique or Fun Fold, then throw it in the comments, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to flip the camera around. This is a really short live. All right. So thanks for tuning in for this first project. I might restamp this and put my cake down a little bit lower. We'll see how I feel about that, but it's probably going to drive me crazy. All right, so that's it, project 1. If you are my customer and you've ordered from my online store, then you are probably getting the card kits in the mail from me. So how that works is if you're in Canada and you're my customer and you spend a minimum of $50, and I'm going to send you the card kits for whatever card class of the month I am putting on in that particular month. So this month is all about cake. So there will be some card kits coming in the mail to some of you, and it's not late. It's not too late. You can still get the card kits. I'm going to throw a link to my online store in the comments if you're interested. If you are watching this on Facebook, the link's going to be in the comments. If you are watching on YouTube, you're going to find that link in the description of the video along with the measurements for this card. And I will put the photo measurements for the card in the comments of this video as well. All right, I'm seeing some replies. Awesome, fun, full, technique. All right, keep them coming and I'll make a decision for the final class. Thanks so much, and I hope you guys tune in next Thursday to see what the casual card design is going to be. Have a great night.